Hey y'all, it's Maddie here with Junk in the Trunk by Maddie, and I'm here bringing you another envelope craft. So you're going to need 2 envelopes. You're going to fold that flap and cut on the line. And then we're going to place glue and glue it to the front of the envelope. Just so you have 2 lips, one on each side. And then we're going to cut the flap off of the second envelope, and we're going to use that flap and fold it in half. Once you get a good crisp line, you're going to open up that little flap and you're going to cut it down the line into 2 pieces. So you're going to cut down that line and create 2. Now we're going to take the envelope, set those other 2 pieces aside. We're going to take the envelope and fold it in half. Use your bone folder if you have one to get a nice crisp line. And this will be our journal cover. We're making a teeny tiny little journal out of an envelope. So those 2 flaps that you cut in half are going to become pockets to the front and back. So you're going to put some Fabri-Tac or tacky glue on 2 sides to create a pocket. You're going to put one on the front and one on the back. Now that other envelope is not going to go to waste. We're actually going to be using that other envelope to create ephemera that's going inside this journal. So none of it goes to waste. So there's the flap we cut off of the second envelope. I sprayed it with a little bit of that distress ink just to give it a little pop of color. And we made 2 pockets for the inside of the journal. So you have pockets on the outside and inside. Now we're going to get into my Sears and Roebuck magazine from the 1970s. This is a 1970s reprint of a 1906 magazine. And we're going to use these women in their corsets. Here we go. We're going to glue that photo to this piece of envelope that we set aside. We're going to fold that in half. And then we're going to glue the woman on the front of this to create a small journal inside of a journal. It'll get its own signature and everything. So we're going to glue her to the front. And if you want to distress ink the edges, you absolutely can. It'll give it a little extra oomph. And then there's the tiny signature that's going to go inside. I'm going to show you guys step by step how I do this. With no staples, we just put a little bit of glue in the crease, and then we add a piece of paper, and then a little bit more glue, and add another piece of paper. And I'm pressing in the center each time to make sure that they're sticking to each other. And now we're going to glue it into that tiny journal. And you've made your own tiny little ephemera journal that's going to go inside of your envelope journal. Super cute. Now for some decoration, my favorite part. I have some old vintage lace that I wanted to put on the front. I don't cut it first. I glue it down and get it in place, and then I trim off the excess. That's just the way that my brain processes things, so I cut it second. I didn't cut it to size first. But you do it however you want. And then of course I have to layer the lace. So I had to add a little extra lace to the front on the lip of the pocket. It's coming together now. It looks really cute. Very vintage. Now I'm going to cover this other pocket with a piece of paper to make the pocket pop. And then I just glue it down and cut off the excess. The decorating is always my favorite. And now you can see the pocket's ready to be used. Let's add another little ephemera journal. So here's a tiny little journal with some distressed papers on the inside. I glued this the same way I did the first one. But we're going to stick it in that giant pocket that we created from the envelope. There's a front one and a back one on this one. And here it is all decorated. I did a little bit of decorating off camera. I also added things into the pockets and decorated with more lace, and even added a large signature on the inside of this journal. And of course, it's got the little pockets made from the envelope with signatures inside. This was a fun little project. Let me know if you guys try it. I'd love to see pictures you can post in the Trash to Treasure group. My name is Maddie. If you're new here, my page is Junk in the Trunk by Maddie, and you can find my tutorials on all major social media platforms. Just search Junk in the Trunk by Maddie. All right, you guys enjoy. Bye-bye.